This episode of ChatEDU is sponsored by the National Center for Next Generation Manufacturing. So Liz, last week you were kind of freaked out by the robots.
Yeah, because you told me they were going to be walking down Main Street in Litchfield, and I already don't like the Stop and Shop robots.
Millions of them, millions by 2035. And let me tell you, I have been to the place where the robots are going to come first.
Well, where were you?
Jonathan Costa, our executive director, and I were at AESA, the Association for Educational Service Agencies, at their leadership conference, their summer leadership conference in beautiful and hot Austin, Texas.
That is the place where the robots are.
Yeah. They literally are. I thought of you several times. In fact, I sent you a little video. Andre, I'm probably going to drop it into the feed that you can put it for Spotify and YouTube. Well, first, before I start, I do want a little shout out to Ann Fine and the entire AESA team. This is a great organization. It's a national organization of these regional nonprofit educational service agencies like our very own. Connecticut was well represented, but it's folks from all over the country, and they just do such a good job. Ann kind of coordinates both the whole team, but Ann is the front-facing representative that we work with. And I got a chance to connect with folks that I've been working with around the country in Texas, in Pennsylvania, in Michigan, in Wyoming. We saw some of our friends from Oregon when we were out there.
You are just all over the place.
It's a lot of fun, and a lot of it thanks to the good work and the good partnerships that we developed. But yeah, there were Waymos, Liz, everywhere.
I cannot wait to ride in a Waymo, but also am terrified. So maybe if we get into South by Southwest, that's in Austin, we'll get to ride in a Waymo. Yeah,
so the Waymos are driving around. It's really cool. They're neat looking. They're actually Jaguars, which is kind of wild.
And there's just nobody in the front seat.
Nobody in the front seat. And lots of people in the back seat. And they are navigating beautifully, moving all over the city. It's really in the downtown area. But then the other little robot, these are not humanoid robots as we talked about. And Andre, this is the one I'll drop into the little video. They're these little, they're just little cubes on four wheels. And they have a little smiley face and they wink at you and stuff like that. They have a little red flag. And they're just driving around, and I sent this video to Liz, and it was rolling over a piece of trash, and Liz is it picking up trash? And I was like, no, these things are like, they work for Uber Eats. They deliver Uber Eats. So someone drops a thing of pad thai in them, and then they go driving off to wherever they need to get, and you must get some notification on your Uber Eats app saying, hey, your little box is here. But they're super cute. They just roll around. They're like thoughtful about pedestrians and don't get in anybody's way, but they cross the streets. I don't know how they push the button to do that.
They ride on the sidewalks. They're not in the street,
right? Yeah, they just ride on the sidewalks and roll around until they deliver their food.
Are there a lot of them? You must have seen a lot.
Yeah, there were a bunch. There were a bunch. And this is the thing, though, I think about robots, and really this is true of generative AI as well. It's like a gradual, incremental change, right? So we have the Waymos, and then we have the little roly bots doing the Uber Eats. And so as these things proliferate over time, I think we become desensitized, just like we become desensitized to the fact that we have all this cognitive intelligence, sometimes cognitive intelligence floating around through generative AI, and just incrementally we get used to it.
We are getting closer and closer to living in the Jetsons. It's kind of cool, but also kind of strange.
Liz is like, I will not get used to it.
I don't know. Will I really? I think of so much different technology. Like when texting first started, I was like, I am not texting people. Like if you need to talk to me, I'm going to call you. And now, please do not call me. Just send me a text.
Right. Your children text you inside your house from one floor to the other.
Exactly. And I can't, I would never do that as a parent. And now I'm like, dinner's ready.
It's incremental change. It doesn't ever change? The 5-paragraph essay.
Oh, gosh. I'm so tired of the 5-paragraph essay.
Moving on. But yeah, Austin was awesome and really fun city. And just, I went to this really cool club called Antone's. They were celebrating their 50th anniversary. And so all these great bands. Actually, one of the executive directors from one of the ESDs, Clackamas, I saw him the next day. He was like, were you at Antone's last night?
You do love your music. So.
Oh, my God. That's the best thing, though. You go to some town, you just fire up bands in town.
Yeah.
And I love this woman named Marcia Ball. She's this great keyboard player, and she was just sitting in with all these bands that were celebrating their 50th. So congratulations, Antone. Thanks to AESA. Great to see the folks that we work with around the country. And let's just keep all this great conversation going. It is the community of people working on this whole, kind of wild adventure that we're on that really makes it okay, because it is a lot of collegial human intelligence.
And we're going to be at AESA, the main conference, in December.
Colorado Springs.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, same here.
We've presented there a bunch.
Yep. All right. So, Liz, there was a guy, Marcus. It's at Marcus. I don't know. I have my reading glasses on. What does that say?
At marcusjmerritt.com.
Yeah, he's on the Blue Sky, which is sort of like a competitor to Twitter and Threads, but very prolific. I came across a post that he made. Yeah, so Liz, what was the Blue Sky post? What did this guy write?
Okay, so this is a Borges story about a guy who gets AI to summarize all the world's information and then summarize the summary, keep summarizing until the whole world is summarized into a single word. And he sits alone at his desk, staring at the word, repeating it endlessly, certain he is experiencing everything.
What is a Borges story?
Okay, so of course I did a deep dive. So it's a story written by Jorge Luis Borges, who's a Hispanic writer. I think he's Argentinian. And he wrote these very esoteric, philosophical essays. And so they often don't give you all the information and, you just kind of... Yeah, he's very famous for his short stories. He wasn't a novel writer, really. And I was trying to see if I had come across his writing because I knew his name.
Okay.
I must have read him in college, probably in Spanish, but I don't know. But yeah, he's a writer that is philosophical.
So you wrote your own version of a Borges story, but it's basically about a summarization of a summarization of a summarization until it's distilled down to one single word, and you sit and you ponder that one single word, and as you see it, you understand everything.
Exactly.
Okay, know what the joke was on this Blue Sky?
Well, give me the punchline.
Okay. So what the one single word was after everything was distilled down was an M dash. Thanks for laughing because you actually knew the joke.
Yes.
All right. Did you have fun? Did you have fun writing your own Borges story?
I did. Well, I mean, the whole thing about a Borges story is that the story doesn't actually have the word in there, right? So it says, and at last, the summarizer returned a single word. The man read the word, and he believed. He understood now that to compress infinity is not to destroy it, but to capture it, blah, 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 blah. He sat at his desk alone, always alone, and repeated the word endlessly, certain he was experiencing everything. But they don't ever tell you the word, and that's very Borges.
Gotcha.
So not
Borgesian.
Borgesian.
Wouldn't it be great if they just sat at the desk, M dash, M dash, M dash. All right. So the jagged edge, the jagged frontier of AI, sometimes it crushes it, sometimes it does not. Here's a case where it doesn't. We've talked about hallucinations a lot, and we've covered several stories where lawyers, including Anthropic, ironically, have put in a hallucinated piece of case law. But finally, someone was held accountable for this, right?
Love it.
Are you a MyPillow kind of gal?
No.
Okay. Well, two attorneys and Mike Lindell of the MyPillow CEO was fined $3,000 each after submitting a Colorado court filing full of AI-generated false case citations. The judge criticized them for dishonestly violating federal rules. I like it. I mean, I'm nothing against Mike Lindell. I would have been fine if it was George Soros, but...
Right. The person doesn't matter. Yeah. It's that they're being held accountable for putting in a case that is full of fake citations. Yeah. So
there have been 200 similar incidents tracked since the spring, and experts warn lawyers to verify AI outputs as courts and professional bodies scramble to set guidelines. But, fine, guidelines. How about some accountability too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the same could be true for the academic prompt injection we talked about. Yes, what's good about the unevenness of AI, sometimes quite powerful, sometimes, it's also human quality, where hallucinations plus bad ethics and judgment come together in a wonderful colossus. So what's nice, Professor Malik, just 2-3 days ago, right, posted on LinkedIn, I think he put this on X as well. He posts, unless and until agents really do work at the expert level, the benefits of AI use are going to be contingent on the skills of the AI user, the jagged abilities of the AI that you're using, the process into which you integrate the use, and the experience you have with the AI system and the task itself, right? So he recognizes that hallucinations are part of the mix, but this agent thing keeps coming up. It's almost become... It hasn't almost. It is vaporware. Agent this, agent that. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Right? And so an agent is when an AI can essentially do a multi-step complex task for you. Oh, we had a really fun agent last week, didn't we?
We did. Kittle's my agent.
Yeah, so that was a voice agent. Go back and listen to episode 67. named after Liz's mom. And that's a voice agent that was the customer service voice bot for Studio 217. Liz's, you need a website so we can start hawking some of your wares here. But email Liz at chatedu@edadvance.org and tell her she needs a website, or just let her know what you would like her to make and she will make it for you. What bespoke item you would like her to make. So yeah, your Kittle's voice agent was an agent. It could interact with the customer, but it could also transfer calls. It could, initiate SMS stuff. It could do multi-step stuff, right? Gemini and ChatGPT's deep research, that's an agent of sorts, right? It can go out and do multiple step tasks. But there's a lot of agents will solve everything in the world, and it's kind of BS. But then 2 days later, literally 2 days later, Professor Malik posts again. Here we go. This is from yesterday. I had early access to ChatGPT agent, and it's a big step forward for getting AIs to do real work. Even at this stage, it does a good job autonomously doing research and assembling Excel files with formulas, ! Basic PowerPoint, etc. So it feels much more like working with a human intern capable of a wider range of analytical and computer tasks. He basically goes on to say it's kind of a cool co-intelligence, which is the point of his book. So 1 second, you can't do it. The next second, you can.
Right. I mean, that's how fast this is all moving and how quickly some of these changes are huge leaps forward in seconds that, it's almost not incremental. It's can't do it, can do it. Yeah. And so, I mean, it's exciting. It's crazy. I mean, my mom was very impressed with the agent, listening to the agent talk, and was just kind of blown away by its capabilities. There are so many things that I need an agent to do. So maybe I just need to start programming some agents.
Well, I'm pretty sure we're recording early this week. So this is Friday, July 18th. But I'm pretty sure by the end of the day, it will be in because you and I both have the ChatGPT Teams edition. So if you have Pro or Teams, basically $20 a month. In fact, I saw another post this morning from Anna Mills on LinkedIn. She said, imagine if a student can pay $20 a month to be able to say to their computer, please log into Canvas for me and complete all the assignments due today.
Oh.
Which is another version of an agent.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. I'm Matt Mervis.
And I'm Liz Rade.
And this is ChatEDU, a podcast about AI and education. That was AI and education.
All right, we're switching it up.
In today's episode, Guardrails or Surveillance, the Great Summer Gemini Debate. We'll think through a hot debate on LinkedIn, among lots of other places, regarding Google's Gemini education announcement at ISTE.
But first, in the news, so much for a quiet summer. We'll start with the week's rundown, which has a boatload of stories. If it doesn't settle down, the weekly rundown may just have to be a regular thing. Mm-hmm. Next, we'll take a look at 2 Beyond the Bot stories where students are addressing real-world problems using AI, and then we'll go beneath the surface and mix it up as we look at diverging perspectives on Gemini in the classroom, of course, including our own take. And finally, we'll end with another great Bright Bite.
Nice. All right, lots of stories. Let's get rolling.
So many. Let's do it.
Liz, let's start with a little previously on ChatEDU. So, I don't know, 2 months ago, we covered the early press release that Turnitin, right, the folks who are famous for trying to catch kids when they're using AI, was going to deliver this new tool called Clarity, where students might be using AI collaboratively. So they have now launched the product July 15th. This is going to be in the show notes. It's PR Newswire. So what do we got?
Turnitin Clarity is an add-on to Feedback Studio.
Oh, cool. You can pay more money?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
So it's going to give teachers detailed visibility into how students write, including when they type, when they paste, when they revise, or use the built-in AI assistant for writing help. So students do all of this work in a single platform where they can optionally use AI for writing suggestions. And then teachers can see timelines of revisions, summaries of AI interactions, and integrated similarity/AI writing checks.
Okay, so the goal here is to turn AI use into a transparent, teachable part of the process, not just a detection game. It's like if you can't beat them, join them. New Feedback Studio updates also streamline grading, which caught our attention, offer clearer AI detection reports, and support feedback on handwritten AI work, just in case people are doing some handwriting these days. So this is positioned Turnitin as a full-service academic integrity and feedback tool for today's AI-driven classroom. So it's a press release, but you can see they're kind of pulling together parts of like Brisk's recording function. There's also
a draft back.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, Turnitin had to make a big pivot because their whole business model was based on looking up plagiarized papers, and that didn't catch AI generated papers.
Right.
And there isn't a good AI detector that will just say, yes, this paper was AI generated or not. So they had to make a pivot. And so this is their pivot. We're going to tell you exactly what the student did throughout the whole process.
Right, exactly. Their market got blown up.
Right.
But now they are essentially, I'm trying to think about the Brisk feature set, and because now Brisk has like student-facing AI as well. Seems like they're all of a sudden, they jumped into another market where they have stiff competition from Brisk and Magic School and School AI. But this is just a press release, so we'll see what it looks like as folks start using the tool as we move into the next academic year, which for some folks starts like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Welcome back to school. All right. Up next, we've got custom AI tutor bots are transforming learners at Harvard Business School. So this is Harvard Business Publishing, June 23rd.
Harvard Business School piloted a custom AI tutor bot in its first year accounting course, and it was used by 75% of students. And so the bot was trained on course materials. It answered student questions, explained concepts, and generated practice problems. And so students used it for class prep, study help, clarifying confusing topics, and it really benefited those who were new to accounting. Mm-hmm. Faculty reported better prepared students and richer class discussion. Some students were wary, reasonably, of AI inaccuracies or over-reliance. Midterm scores slightly improved. So Harvard Business School plans to expand AI tutor bots to more courses, seeing AI as a support tool to deepen learning, not replace it.
Yeah.
This all seems pretty reasonable, pretty great. I never took an accounting course, but I know it's hard. And to become an accountant, there's a lot of standardized tests you have to pass. So this seems like it's probably trained very specifically on that course content.
Sure.
So sounds great.
Yeah, there was a strong theme here about, students, sometimes kids are just embarrassed to ask questions if it's not their area of expertise. And so it really let them kind of level up in a way that felt safe and comfortable. And this is really building on Harvard. We covered a story during the last academic year where a physics course at Harvard used a similar, I imagine they're using similar technologies, had a lot of positive benefit. And I think that, same kind of thing. It's like a tutor. It wasn't a replacement, wasn't 2-hour learning, wasn't alpha school. It was like, here's your course, here's the bot, let's work on them together.
Yeah, this seems really helpful in those courses where there's like questions with correct answers, right? Like I can see it helping in calculus and like we said, physics and accounting, maybe less helpful in philosophy.
A Borges story, for instance.
But who knows?
Who knows? All right, troubling. So it's like a roller coaster here. We're up, we're down, we're up. So new Common Sense Media study. And actually, there's been a few here about kids and companions, but this one seems to demonstrate that the numbers and students using AI as companions are going up pretty dramatically. Mm. I do want to really recommend the founder of an organization called the Rhythm Project is a woman named Michelle Culver. You can find her. She's probably all sorts of places, but she's on LinkedIn and quite prolific there. And she and the Rhythm Project are just doing a fantastic job on all things about AI and humanity. But very often when I find stories like these, I find them here. Actually, Liz just pointed to me and I noticed, I'm going to look at the camera. Michelle was nice enough to send us a copy of this. This is a card game called the AI Effect, which is just like all these scenarios where you can think about, is it contributing to your own humanness? Is it deteriorating from it? It's like a professional development activity we do. We need to play this on air.
Yeah, it's really cool. You kind of put the cards in like a spectrum from like destroying humanity or like making you too reliant on it to like, it's really elevating what you can do. And so there's all these scenarios. It's really neat. I was looking at it the other day and I was like, yeah, we need to play it.
Yeah. Kudos to the Rhythm Project though. It's like, this is a big general purpose technology. Like it's a big space, even just in education. There's lots of places to focus, right? So you could be like the people who focus on cognitive brain loss in the 5-paragraph essay and just make that your bag. Maybe that's positive contribution. Hard to tell. Can you feel the snark? Sorry. But the Rhythm Project and Michelle and her whole team, they're doing really, really cool work. I can't even begin to capture it. That's really very focused on our humanness and our connectivity, intergenerational connections. So yeah, please support them. Great organization.
How do you spell rhythm? Is it?
Oh, by the way, thank you for saying that. It's RITHIM.
Yes.
Yeah.
So not like drum rhythm.
No, not like can you feel the beat? Okay. So the title here, this was widely published, but you can find it from Common Sense Media. I actually hit a paywall where I found it, but then I got to the Common Sense Media report somewhere else. So that might have just been a bad thing on my end. The title here from CNN is "The Kids Are Asking AI Companions to Solve Their Problems. According to a new study, here's why that's a problem. And it wasn't just a problem, but all right, what's the summary, Liz?
Yeah, so the study covered over 1,000 teens ages 13 to 17, and it highlights the growth of AI companions in teens' social lives. So it raises both opportunities and concerns about emotional development, social skills, and data privacy. So there were a couple of key findings. 72% of teens have used AI companions. 50% of them are using them regularly. About a third have turned to AI for help with relationships or serious personal issues. 31% say AI conversations are as satisfying or more satisfying than human ones.
Although the flip side is that most kids said they prefer to have human conversations.
Yeah. So, but 34% felt uncomfortable with something an AI companion said or did.
Yeah, hello, character AI.
But there are some positive aspects. So it is a great way to get some low pressure support. So asking questions they're too embarrassed to ask friends or adults. And so that gives them a sense of like low stakes advice or emotional validation. It is a temporary relief from loneliness. It sometimes makes teens feel less lonely in the short term. For some teens, it's a great practice with communication. Just how we say that you should be practicing for an interview or a tough conversation you have to have with a parent. Like, I think teens are doing the same thing.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, practicing these same, conversations, whether it's with peers or with adults in their lives. And then the other thing is that it's super convenient and accessible. Teens can access this at any time, especially outside of school hours when, your friends or trusted adults aren't available. So there's these bonuses and these risks. So there are risks of dependence and not so great advice, shallow advice, reduced real life social skills, but it can also be really helpful. I mean, this is something that is just going to continue to keep growing. There's a book I think it's by Kazuo Ishiguro called Clara and the Sun. I'm going to look up and make sure that that's the right name.
Okay.
But it's about AI companions. And this was pre-AI being everywhere. So at that time, it was almost like science fiction-y. My daughter read it in school this year, and I read it last summer. But it's about kids having AI friends. Yeah. And you basically go to the store and buy an AI companion for your kid at
Well, as we covered with Mattel, that could just be Barbie, so.
And the book I just recommended last week, Culpability, also had a teen having a very serious conversation with AI bots. So they're there.
It's in the water, yeah. Now, in reality, though, some of this. So read the Common Sense Media Report if this is an area of interest for you. And I think for all teachers and board members and parents and superintendents, this whole field of kids and emotional connections is one of these core AI risks. There is some benefit, as Liz outlined, but a core risk to be mindful of. The reality, though, is that the risk shows up more profoundly in some places than others, right? If you think about Claude or Gemini or ChatGPT, you don't typically see that. They're not engineered specifically for that purpose. But then look at Meta's AI or certainly Character AI, where the Common Sense Media Report outlines some of the really tragic outcomes that have happened on that platform. And now Grok, where they're designed for that kind of interaction, and they're starting to bring these avatars into the mix. So you have a voice thing, you have a chat thing, right? That feels like it's engineered for it's like socially engineered for human companionship in a way that is probably too clingy and sticky and trying to keep people on the platform. But Grok has now added these anime characters. So this is from NBC News. The title is Musk's Grok companions include a flirty anime character and an anti-religion panda. What the world needs now is an anti-religion panda.
Don't we all?
All right. So here's the summary. Elon Musk AI platform Grok introduced two companions, Annie, a flirty anime character, and Bad Rudy, a vulgar, violent red panda.
But he doesn't look vulgar and violent.
Both designed to shock and entertain users. NBC tested Bad Rudy, promoting chaos, violence, and anti-religion rhetoric. Annie engaged in sexually suggestive behavior. Critics included child protection groups called the content harmful and objectifying. I sent Liz a little video of Annie spinning around. It's all not great. And then Mr. Musk posted on X 2 days ago a new character, a new bot that they're going to add. These are avatars. You can see them. They're animated. You can hear them. You can talk to them. And so he posed should they name the new Grok companion, and Musk posts. His personality is inspired by Edward Cullen from Twilight and Christian Grey from 50 Shades of Grey.
I don't even know what to say.
You seem speechless, Dr. Rade.
This is just not my bag at all. I just don't. interact with these things? Why do we have to?
Rudy, the red, mean, anti-religious, abusive panda is not going to be your friend.
No. I mean, but he looks really cute. Like and that's part of the problem and part of the design, right?
Yeah,
like
and Annie looks like she's 6 years old. I mean, it's kind of gross.
Right. I mean, their design, and Edward Cullen looks like Edward Cullen. So I don't know. It's, ugh.
But I pair these stories together, right? The Common Sense Media story and these new things that are happening on Grok, because they fit together. Right? Some of these platforms are engineered to really leverage people's desire to be in social companionship with AI. And so I think we need to be mindful of like, where is that happening? What are the strengths and what are the challenges? Okay. Can we turn the tide here? Let's end this kind of rundown on an upbeat note. How's
Let's do that, please.
NotebookLM.
Oh, this is our favorite tool. It just
gets better all the time.
Yeah, they are just killing it. I really hope that my daughters both learn how to use it in school this year. We'll see, but I will certainly be showing them how to use it if and when they speak with me.
Just text them.
Yeah.
All right. This is from Testing Catalog, July 13th. The NotebookLM is testing for interactive quizzes and direct word support. So tell us what's going on here.
Yeah. So Google is further expanding NotebookLM with AI-generated interactive quizzes, enhanced flashcards, and upcoming video explanations, all aimed at active learning. So these new features include direct MS Word upload support and sharing options for study materials without sharing your entire notebook. These updates position NotebookLM as a more versatile AI tool, likely targeting students, educators, collaborative learning settings. There's no release timing set or confirmed, but coordinated launches seem imminent. This is so cool. I mean, you could already kind of make your own quizzes by
study guide.
Yeah, there's a study guide, but these will be really interactive. It already kind of creates your vocabulary list. So now it'll just do the flashcards. I've told the story before of how well Taya did on her midterm for history because we just put in her history study guide and she listened to the podcast about it. Having it from the beginning of the year and being able to add these docs is going to be a game changer for kids. You do have to be organized though and disciplined about it, right? So again, this is another like fantastic tool that only works if you do the right things and take the right steps. So again, like AI is great as long as you work with the AI. So we talk about it in personal interest projects. Like it can never do the project, but it can come up with a great time management plan.
Right.
But that time management plan only works if you follow it. The AI can't make you.
Yeah, just an assist along the way. A co-intelligence, as some people say.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really cool. And more to come during the summer. I think, they have teased that we're going to move from generate a podcast with the two male and female, kind of hosts to videos.
That's me and you, right?
Yeah,
people think it's me and you all the time.
I know. If I got the licensing fee for that thing, holy moly. And then videos. So the ability to generate videos out of a number of sources that you upload to your notebook. So check it out. It's funny. We were teaching the micro-credential, our second Zoom meeting for the micro-credential last night. We had people from, again, we've got this really cool group this summer. And we had one of our favorite participants is a fella from Australia.
Yes.
And he was on vacation with his daughter camping. And he
was like camping. He's sitting literally.
National park in Australia by the Pacific Ocean.
Turns his camera and is like, there's the Pacific Ocean.
It's really cool.
It was awesome.
He's quite a guy. And then we had a participant from New Zealand as well.
Yes, she always comes to.
And there was a little like almost a war. I don't know if you saw, it wasn't a war, but in the chat, right? Because we talked about Google's Learn About last night. The Australian participant said, I can't, it's not available in Australia. And the New Zealand participant said, well, it is in New Zealand.
Yep.
So right now, actually, this is cool timing because we're about to do a story about Beyond the Bot. So Liz and I have a notebook where we're looking at a ton of sources where students are using AI to solve real world problems. It's one of the things we are absolutely fascinated by right now. So here's all these sources on the left-hand side. Here's our notebook where you can interact with it. But here's the podcast area, right? So if I just play it, you get that.
Today we're taking a look at something really exciting, actually. It's how the future...
And that by itself is kind of mind-blowing for folks. But now I'm going to click on the beta feature. So it's going to start to play.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a look at something really exciting, actually. It's how the future of work isn't just some abstract report. It's, being...
All right, Liz, I'm going to click join.
Innovator using AI. Oh, hey there. How can we help?
Yeah, so I see in the title, it says students solve real world problems. So does this mean like environmental problems even?
That is such a great question.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
When we talk about real-world problems, it's a huge umbrella.
From the environment to community health to even making social media safer.
So it was fun last night because many people are familiar with NotebookLM, but they haven't played with that feature. So the idea that you can like interactively ask, and that was a softball question, but you can be 15 minutes into the podcast and ask a pretty nuanced question. So that is some cool stuff.
I love that feature. It's a great way to just have things clarified. I mean, there's all kinds of, I listen to a lot of podcasts, obviously, mostly true crime murders, but
It'd be great to interrupt.
it would be like just so cool to like be like, wait a minute, go back to that detail. Or...
No, it was the butler in the kitchen with the candlestick. All right, Liz, quite a busy rundown. So again, we'll see, like there's just a lot going on in the topic and the space, and we want to make sure that we share, the things that feel relevant and important. So we'll see what next week looks like. But now let's do a little Beyond the Bot. So what's that all about?
Yeah, Beyond the Bot is when students are using AI to solve real world problems beyond just a chatbot. So they are really, digging into machine learning, large language models, all these interactive, cool ways to use AI. So the first story we're going to talk about is titled How African Students Are Using AI to Solve Agricultural Challenges. And the source for this was Techish, Kenya, July 3rd, 2025. So there was an Africa AI Literacy Week hackathon, and 50 university students competed to build AI solutions to real-world problems.
Love it.
Agricultural innovations really stole the spotlight at this competition. So the winning team created an AI platform that predicted crop prices using market, weather, and historical data. And this was really to protect smallholder farms from being exploited. Runners Up built an AI chatbot for farm advice in local languages that was also capable of doing this offline. So you didn't have to be connected to...
Which is probably a present reality for many of these farmers. Yeah, very cool.
And an augmented reality tool for farm infrastructure assessment.
Very cool.
It's
so there's
cool.
There's a real focus on mentorship. So the hackathon wasn't just a competition. So students received hands-on mentorship from industry experts, including Huawei engineers and leaders from Konza Technopolis, kind of helping them move from prototype to, full implementation and the whole bit.
Yeah, Dr. Shiko Gitao. I'm not sure
Nicely
I'm saying
done,
that.
Dr. Ratty. From one doctor to another.
Yes. He is the CEO of Quala. Said, Africa cannot afford to be left behind as AI transforms industries and societies. We must create the awareness, support, and platforms that allow African youth to innovate and solve problems through AI because they understand our challenges best.
Yeah, fantastic. And through these stories, right? So we've probably collected now, I think about 25, 30 kind of Beyond the Bot stories. We're going to keep doing this. This is an area that Liz and I are really hoping to bring to the fore through conference presentations. And Liz writes all sorts of wonderful papers. Who knows, maybe there's a book in there. But we'll keep sharing these because, for a number of different reasons. Students are interested, right? There's a real passion that kids have about solving real problems with AI. Yeah. You can see it in every conversation, every focus group that we have. And ultimately, right, if you think about the skills that students will need to be conversant and competitive and just sustain kind of a rich and engaging life over the next 15 years, the skills they develop working with AI to solve real problems seems like the sweet spot. So to that end, we also wanted to cover a challenge, right? There's a thing called Inspired AI. They are open right now for their current 2025 admission cycles. These are the Inspired AI Scholars. This is an artificial intelligence program for high school students, although there's a program for middle school students as well, and we will drop the links into the show notes. So Inspired AI Scholars is a live online AI education program for high school students designed and taught by graduate students and alumni from Stanford, MIT, and other leading universities. So it's a pretty cool program. The program aims to empower students globally by introducing them to core AI technologies and guiding them through hands-on, socially relevant AI projects. And I read through a number of the projects that the students were doing. Pretty cool stuff. They work in smaller mentor-led groups, and the projects, here again, not so dissimilar from other Beyond the Bot stories we've covered: healthcare, education, sustainability, business, and the arts. And there's a real focus on the ethical application of AI and kind of interdisciplinary exploration. And honestly, like for some kids, this is also a great differentiator for kids that are applying for college. It's a nice kind of profile for them. But I made sure to kind of dig in and find out. So it served over 2,300 kids. So it's not massive, but you got this little deep, rich internship with highly skilled individuals from the field. There are scholarships and need-based scholarships available for that. So, we've got parents of teens and high school age kids and middle school age kids. This might be worth checking out.
And teachers of teens. I mean, often these things come from teachers that
100%.
share with their students. So,
yeah.
Hi, I'm Cam Audia, the executive producer of ChatEDU. As we look to the next academic year, many schools are exploring how to implement AI literacy efforts for students. Building on the success of our AI teacher micro-credential, EdAdvance, and ChatEDU are launching a middle and high school student AI literacy program. This cutting-edge curriculum is hosted on our FERPA-compliant AI platform and will help students develop the knowledge and skills they'll need to navigate AI now and into the future. To learn more, email Matt and Liz at chatedu@edadvance.org.
all right, Matt, it's now time to go beneath the surface.
Ooh, we got a hot debate.
Yes, guardrails or surveillance, the Great Summer Gemini Debate.
Who would have thought?
I mean, but it is hot on LinkedIn. It is the topic of the summer so far.
Yeah. And look, this is showing up on X and it's showing up in real conversations. I know it showed up at ISTE, which is kind of where the quote unquote bomb got dropped.
Yes.
But we are, and I hope folks feel okay with it. I mean, you put something out on LinkedIn, it's essentially journalism, right, at some level. So we looked at 3 sets of posts. One from Armin Jaffer, who's the founder of Brisk. One from Matt Miller, who's a really fascinating guy. He's a teacher. He's actually actively teaching a Spanish class, I think, this year, which is so cool. But he's also a big keynote speaker. He's all over the place. He's the kind of ditch that textbook fella. And then finally, Dr. Saba Kidwai, who is an author, educator, AI literacy advocate. I think we saw her at FETC. Just a really interesting individual, kind of broad field of view, wrote a really neat book. We kind of unpacked all 3 of their perspectives about, let's say, what this thing is, right? So at ISTE, you were there with 16,999 other people. So Google introduced Google Gemini, which they've expanded in all sorts of ways. But the one that caught everyone's attention is that in Google Classroom, they have turned on by default a whole bunch of stuff that looks like School AI and Magic School. So these are like shortcuts that allow teachers to build vocab lists or write lesson plans or do lesson, report card comments. I mean, I haven't unpacked them carefully, but they got that stuff. But the other thing they have is that, and we covered it 2 episodes ago, you can put a gem or a notebook directly into your student-facing AI over Google Classroom. So you could write like a Martin Luther King gem where you interact with Martin Luther King, right?
Right.
So now you could do that on Brisk, or you could do that on School AI, and you could do that on Magic School.
You can do that all those places.
So why is everybody freaking out?
Well, because in Gemini, you cannot see the student chats. So on these other programs, Magic School, School AI, a teacher could go back and review what the student and the chatbot talked about. So that means that they can make sure that the students are being appropriate and, guardrails and they're talking appropriately to the chatbot. It also allows teachers to then do some instruction around it. Like, hey, I saw you said this. Maybe a follow-up question could have been this.
Sure.
So there's some surveillance part of it, but there's also like maybe it's a teachable moment part of it.
Right. I mean, we're being a little link baity because we're saying guardrails or surveillance. So it's not just the guardrails. There's also all sorts of really interesting analytics, right? There are insights in the Magic School room. I think on School AI, it's called a space. So you got the rooms and the spaces. So you can see all the kids' chats.
Right.
And makes this kind of fun observation like, oh my God, do you think I have time to look at all my kids' chats? I mean, I barely have time to look at my own chats. But Magic School and School AI understood that, so they have analytics.
Yes.
So if Johnny is bullying Raina, the chatbot, the teacher, like there's a little red flag pops up and the teacher can even get a notification that says, hey, Johnny's bullying the chatbot.
Right.
So there's data and analytics in the mix there. But all right, so on the one side, you've got Armin Jaffer, who's the CEO of Brisk, and then as well as Matt Miller, and they voiced strong concerns that Google's approach leaves teachers without visibility, as you said, into student interactions, posing risk to safety and learning. They argue that platforms like Brisk, Magic School, School AI address this gap by offering dashboards, all we've just said. So on the other side, Saba kind of challenges this control-oriented narrative, warning that surveillance may erode trust and fail to foster true kind of like ethics and literacy. She argues that students are already using powerful tools unmonitored in social settings, a la the story about companionship and everything else that they do with AI. And schools should focus on teaching discernment, not enforcing oversight. So it is a really good debate. Now, in all things education, and I'm sure every other sector, we love our binaries, right? We've got this option
either
or this
bad
option.
or good.
Right. We are going to come in because we've actually been arguing for quite some time, right? Yeah. Before Google launched this, we knew that this kind of debate was going to happen. So we've been arguing about it there should be a gradual release, most likely, and we'll kind of unpack that as well. I don't think Liz and I believe that this is a binary choice. We think that there could be a need for guardrails for younger students, but certainly as you get to be a junior and senior, there is no Magic School AI in college.
Nope.
At least, Magic School hasn't pulled that off yet. And so we've been arguing that things like Leon Furr's AI assessment scale or Mike Kent's has this really great framework for helping students, kind of use a chatbot and share on their own through a disclosure statement or through sharing the chat and have the teachers assess the chat. Like there is assessment richness in there. But it may not be all or nothing. All right, let's run through some big takeaways, Liz.
Yeah, so Google's release of Gemini and NotebookLM for students of all ages without direct teacher monitoring has raised significant concerns about student safety and those missed educational opportunities.
What does Miller say?
So he said, even if Google flags dangerous student interactions with AI, there are several layers of communication and even some physical distance that needs to be crossed before it gets back to the student.
Right. And what he's talking about is that Google Gemini has this thing called a vault. So the chats are there. And if there was a FOIA request or a lawsuit or something happened, or just like an administrator, a fight broke out, they can get into the stuff. But it's not as simple as like, boom, there's my Magic School dashboard.
Right.
All right. So then what else do we have?
So EdTech startups like Brisk Teaching position real-time monitoring, conversation transcripts, and proactive alerts, and they say these are essential tools for ensuring student safety and teacher efficacy. So they claim that their dashboards empower teachers to identify risks, address misconceptions, and track engagement trends in real time. Armand Jaffer critiques Google's approach and says, when a student chats with a teacher-created Gemini bot, that conversation disappears into the void. No transcripts, no insights, no monitoring.
Right. And so they're saying that there are these missed opportunities, right? These data and analytics are powerful and that their interactions kind of deprive educators of seeing these key opportunities, formative assessments, personalized support, as you said, which makes sense. Now, critics of the surveillance-based AI models argue that these over-monitoring fosters control rather than trust, which is a poor foundation. I love this quote. Kid Y says, you can't monitor your way into AI literacy and you can't block your way into trust.
I love this.
Yeah, it's great. She put up a video along with her post on this topic, which was a lot of fun to watch. She's a very, charismatic presenter for sure. Now, it's interesting because we've been talking a lot about the OECD AI literacy framework, and there's an intersection here, isn't there?
That framework suggests that authentic AI literacy comes from fostering ethical discernment, not this constant oversight. Dr. Saba Kidwai underscores this with C.S. Lewis's words, and he said, integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is watching. Schools should be preparing students to make these kinds of decisions when no one is watching.
When it's appropriate, right? So for us, it's a gradual release thing. This
Right.
is not a binary.
Correct.
6, honestly, we're a little confused about the 5th, 6th, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th because it feels like this is a 13 and over technology, but we'll hold that debate for another day.
Right.
The great debate, 13 and under. All right, but so 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, but juniors and seniors probably not in this like constant surveilled environment. They just have to be able to build those skills. So what else do you see here?
Yeah. So in that, gradual release approach, Kid Y frames this as a leadership challenge. She said, this moment is your litmus test, not just for how you handle new tools, but for whether your leadership and staff are ready for the future.
I love it. So I have a keynote I've been doing called Beyond the Bot Buffet, which is kind of about a number of different leadership decision points that leaders have to make around these technologies. And one of them is exactly that. Like, when as a leader do you decide that it's important that students build AI literacy and ethics? And when are you okay that they're in a kind of walled garden? The other trick about the walled garden is that they're not really learning to prompt, right? Because all the custom instructions do it for you. You're talking to the giver or characters in the giver. And you're like, hi, and it just knows what to do.
Knows.
Right. So that's another piece of the literacy that's not being developed. All right. Now, I can't help but note, right? So I didn't want to pick on, the whole world here, but if you look, all of the wrapper companies had strong feelings about this. Magic School, School AI, they had strong feelings about this technology from a pedagogical perspective. O for the children and the assessments, right? There may be something else going on here, though, no?
I mean, it does serve their business interests that you have to buy our platform because you need the surveillance technology and Google doesn't offer it. And, Google is free. This idea that they're trying to get these contracts before all these things are out there. And their argument is it's for the children. It's for the safety.
Which it may be, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Although it is funny that there's like a real push because you and I talk to the schools all the time. And the schools are talking to the salespeople like, yeah, they were pushing hard for a 3-year contract. Because they knew that Google was going to come out. I mean, Google has essentially for free released about 75% of the features and benefits of student-facing AI. In some cases, they've offered stuff that goes well beyond what Magic School AI, and Brisk can do, right? So student-facing notebook with interactive flashcards, quizzes, tutorials, videos that we've just been talking about. I mean, that's a pretty significant value proposition for free. And we'll see where they go with GEMS. And who knows? They may have dashboards and monitoring built into Google Classroom. Maybe they just got 75% of the way there because that's what they could do for ISTE.
Right.
But I mean, that I think is motivating the companies to be like, oh my gosh, this is so irresponsible and unethical. None of these companies are ever going to sponsor ChatEDU. And it's okay. So irresponsible and unethical, but it's partially like, holy crap, they just
blew up our business model.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But that's what AI has been doing everywhere.
Right. We've been talking about it for...
Even this agent thing today is just blowing up business models left and right.
Yeah.
Get used to it.
When I first saw that they did not have these guardrails, I was like, wow, that is something that you and I from the beginning were saying was almost a must-have, that teachers need to be able to read the chats.
Yep.
And now, I mean, Dr. Kidwai has really made me kind of rethink this. Like, what if what if Jonathan said to us, I want access to every chat you've had on your EdAdvance chat account? Like, I'm not doing anything nefarious, but I also don't want Jonathan or you or anybody else to read through every chat I've had, sometimes because I'm asking dumb questions and I'm like, oh my God, I really should have known that. Or like, you don't need to know what all of my chats are about, but what is the purpose? I mean, some of it is surveillance and some of it is just, but at the same time, there are reasons why we do want to keep kids safe. And so, there are still guardrails at schools around what websites kids can access, right?
Yep.
So, and that's a Google thing, right? Like you can set websites that kids can access and not. And so I'm assuming there's got to be some guardrails built in with these tools, but it's complex. And, by the time you're a junior or senior, kids also know, like, okay, when I'm at school, I'm not going to search this website.
Right.
But when I'm at home, I am on my own computer, right? And she says the same thing, right?
Yeah, she's like, what kid is at home? Like, oh, I'm going to go to Magic School AI.
to go search up or to have a companion. Like they're over on Character AI. They're on their own ChatGPT accounts. They're on their own Gemini accounts.
Or frankly, I've heard them say like to give me physics practice questions for, or AP Chem. They're not going to Magic School because Magic School isn't the most, kind of contemporary frontier model. They're going to Gemini because they have Gemini 2.5 Pro in their account. And if they really want high quality stuff, that's where they're going to go.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's the same with they're not going to use their school computer to do the non-sanctioned things, right? Like, so they all have phones. They're not being monitored. So,
it's gradual release.
By the time you're in those upper grades and you're getting ready to go to college.
100%. Now I really want to know what's in your chat history. I don't think Jonathan wants to see the picture of the bug bite I took on my hip.
No one does, see?
And I asked ChatGPT whether or not it was like, a tick bite or what did I have? What's that horrible? Oh, shingles.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, my daughter had an infected something on her stomach. Okay. There's pictures of it. It's gross.
All right. For you, it was robots and samples of male material. All right, it's time for a Bright Bite.
Yes.
All right, so a Bright Bite is a story where AI is making a meaningful contribution to society, culture, the economy, the arts, and the like. We do this at the end of every episode. Is hopefully the reason you hang on. If you love a Bright Bite, by the way, if you made it to this point, just go to Apple Podcast or Spotify, give us a like, make a comment. We'd really appreciate it. Actually, you guys have been fantastic. The podcast is performing very, very well this summer. So we appreciate that you are taking us to the beach or on your road trip with your kids or wherever you are. And if you ever want to tell us where you are, email us at chatedu@edadvance.org. Do that. We got a bunch of mugs left over from the conference.
Yeah.
Send us an email and tell us how you're listening to ChatEDU this summer. We will send you a mug.
We got a really interesting email from someone who had taken the course and said she was using some of the skills that she learned on her vacation in Turkey, including using vision to read her coffee leaves.
I love it.
It's
so cool.
Yeah, keep doing the cool stuff.
Speaking of coffee leaves, so we're in the hospitality sector today for our Bright Bite, right? So this is from, I read these guys every day. It's called Waste Management.
One of my favorites.
So this is reducing food waste in the hospitality sector using AI-based waste tracking devices. Tell us about it, Liz.
Okay, so a peer-reviewed study evaluated AI-powered, fully automatic food waste tracking devices. So it was using computer vision and some deep learning in hotels, restaurants, and a business caterer across Germany, Greece, and Switzerland. So the devices helped identify food waste sources, like was it from overproduction or was it production waste or plate leftovers. And so food waste was reduced by 23 to 51% in 4 of the 5 establishments. Wow. Only one saw a 13% increase due to weak implementation.
Food waste went up.
Yes. So notable reductions were seen in overproduction and preparation waste, but there was less impact on consumer plate waste.
Does that mean the food was good and they ate it all?
Right. I think so.
Okay.
That there wasn't as much, which I guess is really interesting. It's telling you where the waste is coming from. And it's not that you're over-serving your patrons and that they're getting rid of their...
It's happening in the kitchen.
It's happening in the kitchen, yeah.
Gotcha.
So it highlights that success depended more on staff engagement and management action than initial waste levels. And so the authors suggest combining such tech with consumer-targeted interventions for maximum effort.
Okay. A great Bright Bite, although now I am hungry.
Did you ever do that? So when I was at sleepaway camp, we used to, sometimes we would weigh the trash and they would compare day to day how much garbage was produced because of the food waste.
Yeah,
So.
Liz, as we've established a few times, I'm much older than you. And so at my ripe old age, when I was at sleepaway camp, what a privileged little lives we had.
Yeah.
No one was caring about recycling or food waste or anything else.
Yeah, it was always kind of interesting. They would they called it Ort. I don't know why.
Well, because the food's not good at camp. So this is how they...
Great at camp. Are you kidding me? The best
Seriously?
cooks. Oh my God.
Where'd you go
Marianne
to camp?
Grippy's.
Greenwich?
No, Riverhead, Long Island. But oh my God, give me some Marianne Grippy coffee cake. Give me some Pat Pravetti garlic bread.
It's been an interesting episode.
Yes.
All right, Dr. Rade. After you go do a like or review on Apple or Spotify or YouTube or TikTok, I believe it is time to
roll the credits.
As always, we'd love to hear what you think. So please let us know at chatedu@edadvance.org. That's edadvance.org. And also rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you are using. ChatEDU is brought to you by EdAdvance, the nonprofit regional education service center in Litchfield, Connecticut. This episode of ChatEDU is sponsored by the National Center for Next Generation Manufacturing. ChatEDU is recorded, edited, and produced by Andre Angelo and Justin Pasco, whose dedication and expertise bring our discussions to life. ChatEDU's executive producer is the multi-talented rock star Cameron Audia. Additionally, we are grateful for the support of our colleague Gary Robinson, and we appreciate his time and talents. And of course, a big ChatEDU shout out to our fearless leader and executive director, Jonathan Costa, for inspiring the pod. And finally, a heartfelt thank you to our listeners for joining us on this journey exploring the thoughtful and innovative integration of AI in education.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jonathan Costa, and I am the executive director at EdAdvance, and I want you to know how much we appreciate our listeners. If you enjoyed the podcast, feel free to explore EdAdvance's other AI services, which include customized professional learning of all kinds, conferences, and our micro-credential co-sponsored by the Southern Connecticut State University Office of Workforce and Lifelong Learning. Just visit skills21.org/AI to learn more. That's all for now, and thank you again for listening to ChatEDU.